Olúṣọlá Adéyẹmí Ọláníyàn orúkọ kí àti ilẹ̀ kíkà tó jẹ́ ọba pàtàkì nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Yorùbá máa sọ àwọn ọ̀daràn náà bá sọ nípò.
Níṣẹ́ náà pé wọ́n sọ àtòrí tó bá dìgbà kan fẹ́ mú wa lọ́ sì tàṣẹ ṣe lọ́wọ́ wa. Yorùbá ẹ ti sàn àní ẹyí sàn oyè ẹ ti máa sùn kọ́ máa padà mú wa ní orúkọ èṣù lórí ogun bọ̀ ogun tètè ta múra ogun bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká múra Yorùbá. Ṣebí ìjọ lárọ̀ bá nígbà nìyẹn ló di ìjọba ẹ̀yin ọba wa ṣe bẹ́yìn náà ni bàbá wa ẹ má lajú yìí sílẹ̀ kájéjì kó gba ilẹ̀ wa kàn yé pa àwọn èèyàn wa ojú yín ẹ jẹ́ kó bá padà sáyé ọba káṣe kó lè padà sẹ́nu ọba olóṣèlú gbọ́dọ̀ máa gbàṣẹ ọba ṣèbí yẹn gangan náà pè ní ìjọba tipẹ́ tí ọba ti fẹnu ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré lọ́wọ́ yìí ẹ dúró déédéé kí tẹ́nàtì má padà yóò nílé Yorùbá ẹ ti sàn àní ẹyẹ sàn ó yẹ tí máa sàn wọ́n má padà mú wa ní orúkọ ìṣòro lórí ogun bọ̀ ogun tètè ká múra ogun bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká múra Yorùbá. Ìjà yìí kì í ṣe ìjà Sunday Igboho nìkan ìjà gbogbo Yorùbá ó yẹ dìde ẹ̀yìn lágbára àsìkò tí tó wọ́n fi tán pápọ́jú kò tó rọ̀ òun kọ́ máa mọ̀ ẹja rọ́lá kan tí ó yọ ẹja gbómi dáta náà ìbọn ṣànjẹ́bọ rí ẹjẹ́ kó tó àtàtò dúdú kò sẹ́ni bọ́dí tó lè rí inú Yorùbá lọ́gbàlẹ̀ jù ẹ̀ máa fi ẹ̀rù ìdóra Yorùbá gbogbo Yorùbá ẹ̀rù ìdóra nínú òkun yẹn gbogbo ẹ̀rù ìdóra lóbi tó ṣe máa jẹ ọ̀tá yín ẹ̀rù ìdóra ìlẹ̀kàlẹ̀ Áfíríkà káwọ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀rù ìdóra ìlẹ̀kàlẹ̀ tó ṣe ìgbàgbọ́ ẹ̀rù ìdóra ìjọwọ́ wa ní Yorùbá máa kàn ẹ̀rù ìdóra Yorùbá kàn àtẹnudẹ ló ń pa wọn ẹ̀rù ìdóra ìkápò lóko ẹ̀rù yẹn ẹ̀rù ìdóra aláṣọ àbísà ó tún fẹ́ ní ẹ̀rù ìdóra ọ̀nà wa ń jẹ̀kùn ó tún dùnú ẹ̀rù ìdóra ó lè ṣàǹfààní fún wa náà tí kò lọ ẹ̀rù ìdóra Yorùbá ti bẹ̀rù ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré ẹ̀dúró déédéé kí tẹ́nàtì má padà yóò nílé.
Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho nìkan ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo wa ni àsìkò àti olóṣèlú wà wọ́n lọ ní gbogbo ẹ̀yìn àgbàgbà ọba mámadàkẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́lẹ́sẹ̀ aláàfin ọ̀gbẹ́lẹ̀ aláàfin ṣọ̀run níwọ̀nsẹ̀ aláàfin ọ̀rọ̀ àtàrí nígbà bàbá rẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ bàbá dàkẹ́ àwọn àgbàgbà tó ń tó bá yẹ.
Ẹ̀yin ọba Yorùbá, àgbàgbà ọmọ tó ti ta orin láti bàbá mẹ́lọ́dì. Ẹgbẹ́ mi lákòó ọba.
Orúkọ tèmi ọba Isa Olúṣọlá Adéyẹmí Ọláníyàn orúkọ kí àti ilẹ̀ òkè tó jẹ́ ọba pàtàkì nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn darandaran tí ó ń dá àwọn alámúgbò kan nínú gbogbo Yorùbá sì bẹ̀rẹ̀ nítorí àwọn ìbàdí tí kan gbàgbà Yorùbá á sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn adarọ̀ náà lásán nìkú.
Yorùbá ti jọ ẹni Yorùbá ò lè jọ ẹ má fún ta lọ́rọ̀ sọ wọ́n má bá àmọ̀dá bájọ wa ẹ̀tọ́ náà fi kàṣẹ sí lọ́wọ́ wa òye wa ní níṣẹ́ náà green wash wa torí tó bá dìgbà kan fẹ́ mú wa lọ sí kàṣẹṣe lọ́wọ́ wa Yorùbá ẹ ti sàn àní ẹyẹ sàn oyè ẹ ti máa sùn ọmọ padà mú wa ní rògbòn èṣù torí ogun bọ̀ ogun tètè ká múra ogun bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká múra Yorùbá ṣebí ìjọ lárọ̀ bá nígbà nìyẹn ló di ìjọba ẹ̀yin ọba wa ṣe bẹ́yìn náà ni bàbá wa ẹ má lajú yìí sílẹ̀ kájéjì kó gba ilẹ̀ wa kàn yé pa àwọn èèyàn wa lójú yìí ẹ jẹ́ kó bá padà sáyé ọba káṣe kó lè padà sẹ́nu ọba olóṣèlú gbọ́dọ̀ máa gbàṣẹ ọba ṣèbí yẹn gangan náà pè ní ìjọba ṣùgbọ́n tí ọba ti fẹnu ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré lọ́wọ́ yìí ẹ dúró déédéé kí tẹ́nàtì má padà lé onílé Yorùbá ẹ ti sàn àní ẹyẹ sàn ó yẹ kí máa sàn wọ́n má padà mú wa ní ogun ìjọ lórí ogun bọ̀ ogun bọ̀ ká múra ogun bọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká múra Yorùbá ìjà yìí kì í ṣe ìjà sọ́yìn tó ṣàníkan ìjà gbogbo Yorùbá ó yẹ dìde ẹ̀yìn alágbára àsìkò ti tó wọ́n kí lọ bá kọjú kó jọ ń rọ̀ òun kọ́ máa mọ̀ ẹja ọlá kan tí ó yọ ẹja gbòmí lápáná ìbọn ọ̀sán jẹ́bọ rí ẹjẹ́ kó tó àná tó lójújú kò sẹ́ni ìbọ̀dé tó lè rí inú bá mẹ́ta lè fi ẹ̀ má fi bí ẹ̀rù ìtura Yorùbá gbogbo Yorùbá ẹ̀rù ìtura nínú ọkùn yẹn gbóhùn sí ẹ̀rù ìtura lóbi tó ṣe máa jẹ ọ̀la ní ẹ̀rù ìtura ilẹ̀ dalẹ̀ ẹ̀rù ìtura ilẹ̀ dalẹ̀ tó dé ibi àgbọn ẹ̀rù ìtura ìjọwọ́ wa ní Yorùbá máa tán ẹ̀rù ìtura Yorùbá gbọ́ àtẹnujẹ ló kà wọ́n ẹ̀rù ìtura ọ̀hún ìgbà tó lóko ẹ̀rù yẹn ẹ̀rù ìtura aláṣọ àwọn àfìsà ó tún bẹ̀ ní ẹ̀rù ìtura ọ̀nà wa ń jẹ̀kùn ó tún dùnú ẹ̀rù ìtura ọ̀pọ̀ tó lè ṣàǹfààní fún wa ló ti kó lọ ẹ̀rù ìtura ó ti fẹ́ tí Yorùbá ti fẹ́nu ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀dúró dédé kí tẹ́nàtì má padà lé onílé.
ọ̀rọ̀ ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho nìkan gbogbo wa ni àsìkò àdá olóṣèlú wà lọ ní gbogbo ẹ̀yìn àgbàgbà ọba mámadàfẹ́ ọ̀nìyànṣẹ́ aláàfin àwùjalẹ̀ aláàfin ṣọ̀rọ̀ ìwọ̀nṣẹ́ aláàfin ọ̀rọ̀ àtàrí Ìbàdàn ìbàbà ẹ̀ṣọ́nà láti àbàdàfẹ́ aláàfin ọ̀jọ̀ báyìí.
Ó yàtọ̀ sókè ẹ̀yìn ọba Yorùbá àgbàgbà ọmọ tó jùlọ orin láti bàbá mẹ́lọ́dì ẹgbẹ́ mi lákọ̀ọ́yìn ọba.
Orúkọ tèmi ni Ọba Isa Olúṣọlá Adéyí Ọláníyàn orúkọ òkè àti ilẹ̀ òkè àti jẹ́ ọba pàtàkì nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn darandaran tí ó ń dá àwọn alámúlò kan ìlú Yorùbá sì dákẹ́ nítorí àwọn ọba àti kan gbàgbà Yorùbá a sì sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn adarọ̀ náà dá Sunday Igboho.
Ẹ̀nà ọba Yorùbá ti jọ ẹ̀yin Yorùbá lè jọ ẹ má fọ́n ta lọ́rọ̀ sọ kó má bàa mọ̀dé abájọ wa ẹ̀tọ́ náà fi gbàṣẹ sí lọ́wọ́ wa òye wa níṣẹ́ ìwọ̀sùn àtòrí tó bá dìgbà kan fẹ́ mú wa lọ́ sí gbàṣẹ sí lọ́wọ́ wa Yorùbá ẹ ti sàn àní ẹyẹ sàn oyè ẹjí máa sùn wọ́n má padà mú wa ní rògbòn èṣù lórí ogun bọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká múra ìjọ lárọ̀ bá nígbà ní ló di ìjọba ẹ̀yin ọba wa ṣe bẹ́yìn náà ni bàbá wa ẹ má lajú yìí sílẹ̀ kájéjì kó gba ilẹ̀ wa kàn yé pa àwọn èèyàn wa lójú yìí ẹ jẹ́ kó bá padà sáyọba káṣe kan lè padà sẹ́nu ọba olóṣèlú gbọ́dọ̀ máa gbàṣẹ ọba ṣèbí yẹn gangan náà pè ní ìjọba tipẹ́ tí yorùbá ti fẹnu ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré lọ́wọ́ yìí ẹ dúró dédé kí tẹ́nàtì má padà lónílé yorùbá ẹ ti ń sọ ẹ̀yìn ó yẹ kí máa wọ́n má padà mú wa ní ogun ìṣòro lórí òfin bọ̀ ogun ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká múra ogun bọ̀ ogun bọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká múra Yorùbá. Ìjà yìí ṣe ìjà tó lè kó ìjà ni ìjà gbogbo Yorùbá ó yẹ dìde ẹ̀yìn alágbára àsìkò tí tó kọ̀ǹpútọ̀ pápọ́jú kò tún rọ̀ òun kò máa mọ̀ ẹja wọn lápọn tí ó yọ ẹja gbòmí lábàáná ìbọn ọ̀sán jẹ́bọ rí ẹjẹ́ kó tó àlà tó lójú kò sẹ́yìn bọ́ọ̀dù tó lè rí inú Yorùbá ń dalẹ̀ jù ẹ̀ máa. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ẹ̀yìn Yorùbá gbogbo Yorùbá ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra lóbi tó ṣe máa jẹ ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ẹ̀yìn lẹ́dàlẹ̀ Áfíríkà táwọn lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ìjọwọ́ wa ní ìbámu kan ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra Yorùbá tó àtẹnujẹ ló ń pa wọn ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ọkùnrin kápó lóko ẹ̀rù yẹn ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ọmọ aláṣọ àwọn àtìsà ó tún bẹ̀ ní ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ọmọ ẹ̀rọ wọn ń jẹkùn ó tún dùnú ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ọmọ tó lè ṣàǹfààní fún wa náà ti kó yọ ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ó ti fẹ́ tí Yorùbá ti fẹ́nu ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré lọ́wọ́ yìí ẹ̀dùn dédé títẹ́ láti má padà lónílé.
ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho nìkan ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo àsìkò àti olóṣèlú wà lọ́nà gbogbo ẹ̀yìn àgbà ọba lálàkà ọ̀nìṣà aláàbí àgbẹ̀rẹ̀ aláàbí ṣọ̀gbọ́nṣọ̀ aláàbí ọ̀rọ̀ àkárí ìbàdàn ìjọba àìsọ̀rọ̀ látàkàtọ̀ babaláwo àwọn látàkàtọ̀ tó bá ti yẹ.
Bóyá tó sókè ẹ̀yìn ọba Yorùbá àgbàgbà ọmọ tó ti da orí láti bàbá lẹ́yọ. Ẹgbẹ̀rún lákọ̀ọ́ ọba.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. You're welcome to my show. This is where you put on your thinking hat, that says Queen Educative Talk Show. So today we'll be discussing leadership crisis and the ongoing leadership failure and the ongoing crisis in Nigeria, part 5. As you know, I've hosted part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 on my platform. But before we get started, I would like us to pray. Because everything good in this prayer, and things really okay to this prayer. So we get started. Father and Lord, we want to thank you. We want to bless you. We want to magnify you. We want to appreciate you. We want to adore you because you are the King of Kings. You are the Lord of Lords. You are the El Shaddai. You are the omnipotent God. You are the omniscient God. You are the God that will never share your glory. Let your name be glorified, Lord, in the name of Jesus. Father, as I'll be speaking today, Father, speak through me, oh Lord, in the name of Jesus. Everybody will learn something from what I'm about to present, oh Lord, in the name of Jesus. And at the end of today, we'll have the cause to glorify your holy name. Be thou exalted, oh Lord, in Jesus' name I have prayed. Amen and amen. You can please subscribe on my YouTube channel. That's Queen Talk Show. You can subscribe on my Facebook page as Queen Educative Talk Show as well. Thank you all for joining. So we get started. So we're going to get started by I'm going to share my screen and we get started with the national anthem. So you give me a moment while I share my screen. Okay.
àti bẹ̀rù làbọ̀bọ̀. Ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká jọba. Ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira bí ẹ jẹ́ ká máa lépa. Tẹ̀síwájú ọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára. Ọmọ òdàdìdé wọ́n sì kó ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ̀. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. And on the rising sun, we love and cherish. We have vanquished our enemies. All hail the Ophion. God bless the Ophion. In Him we trust. Shout it, sing it, all hail the Ophion. God bless the Ophion. We have emerged triumphant from all our foes. Through the cruise the heavens gave, we passed victorious. Our trumpets ring, the glorious song, play it, sing it, all hail the Ophion. Oh, hail the Ophion. We shall always remember all that perished in the struggle for our freedom. All hail our heroes, our precious men, both great and mighty, save them always, all hail your throne. Your shines everywhere. We pray humility. God guide and protect us all. All hail
So thank you all for coming. So like I said today, I'll be analyzing leadership and the ongoing crisis in Nigeria, part 5. I've already analyzed a whole set of part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and part 5 on my platform. And so today I'll be I'll be hosting our part 5 on this platform. So I advise pay attention as I start my analysis. Yeah. So as we know, we are in a big mess in Nigeria. The country is in a mess, and only God can actually save us from this mess we are in right now. You know, the arrest of Sunday Igboho, the detention of Sunday Igboho, the attack on his home, um, the kidnapping of Mazi Kanu, and so on and so forth, and the threats against other agitators in Nigeria, both and also those in the diaspora. Um, we did not know, asking for self-determination, we didn't know how that became an offense, how it became a criminal offense. So far, the way the Nigerian government has conducted itself, it's been really surprising. They've really violated the law, violated human rights, which is against the principles of international convention. So people have been intimidated. We know there's an onslaught against the ethnics in the south. We know there's a genocide. There's a genocide campaign on the people in the south. Just of recent, in Plateau State, terrorists, and which they are called bandits. They are actually not bandits. They are terrorists. Attacked some communities, 17 communities there. 405 houses were burnt down. And an army barrack was close by the area. They never went there to check on the people. They never went there to intervene. They did nothing. 400 houses were burnt down. 50 people were killed. A whole community was burnt down. And by the time they got the response from army said they were not sent to rescue the people. They were not sent to repel the attackers. So as a result of that, they stayed back in their barracks. This is really concerning. This is a real genocide going on in Nigeria. And all this is as a result of leadership failure. And that's why I've been I've been analyzing, using different types of leadership theory to analyze the ongoing crisis in Nigeria. So, so I'm going to get started. So that'll be, the title is a leadership failure. If you have been following me on my show, it's a leadership failure and the ongoing crisis in Nigeria, part 5, hosted by me, Coin. You know, friends, they call me Coin. That's my nickname, you know. So I've come to accepted it as my name. So, and I'm happy for friends or any of my fans to call me that. So what I'll be doing is, there are different types of leadership theory, and I've used one if you watch my previous analysis, I used one leadership theory to analyze the ongoing crisis in Nigeria. And I'll be using this again, a different theory, which is also a leadership theory, because there are different types of leadership theory authored by different authors. So I'll be using this one called Great One Leadership Theory to analyze the ongoing crisis in Nigeria. And I'm going to use that theory to demonstrate the imminent disintegration, that the disintegration of Nigeria is imminent. So my objectives for today will be that after using this theory, I'll use this theory to identify special qualities essential for being a leader. And I'm also going to examine if Nigerian leaders possess the qualities essential for being a good leader. So the question we should ask ourselves is, how do we find ourselves where we are today? You know, some things would have contributed to all those things. And those are the things I will be discussing with you today. Those are the things I will be analyzing with you today. So yeah, leadership theory is part of it. So I'm actually talking about personal trait theory, which is a great man leadership theory. We expect that as leaders, leaders will possess some leadership skills to be a good leader. So the problem is when your leaders doesn't have all those skills, if your leaders does not possess those skills, that is when we'll be having a shortcomings. If your leaders doesn't have those qualities essential for that role, and that's why we start having problem, and which has a result we affect the entire country, we affect the growth of the country, we affect everything as pertaining the country, which is what we are experiencing now in Nigeria. Uh, so it's better we be careful who we cast our vote for. People we vote for, do they possess all these skills? Do they have all these traits? Do you sense of any of those traits in those leaders? So far, I haven't. So great man leadership theory. So it was authored, actually written by Thomas Carlyle, and I'm going to analyze everything about the theory for you. So the theory posits that great leaders, they are born, they are born with some certain traits that enable them to rise and lead. That means before anybody will become a leader, Thomas Carlyle is trying to actually specify that there are some people that they were born with a leadership trait. That this leadership trait is in their body. So once it's in their body, it's in their personal traits, it will be easy for them to lead. It will be easy for them to convince people. It will be easy for them to bring people along. It will be easy for them to dialogue with people, and then and from there they'll be able to rise. Because they are actually they are the people. They that's the kind of leader that the people needed at this critical time. So the theory also posits that great leaders can arise when the need for them is great. So which is the problem we have in Nigeria, which is the problem we have in Nigeria right now. We lack all this leadership traits. We lack all this leadership. We're having problem with this. Our leaders does not possess all these leadership skills, and as a result, it's really affected our development in Nigeria. It's really affected everything about Nigeria, and so therefore, Nigeria is at a critical time right now. And with the way things are going, do we have a solution, or our next solution is just the disintegration of the country? We are yet to find out how, but with the way things are going, we've not seen any of our leaders taking responsibility. We've not seen our leaders taking all these things serious. We've not seen our leader ready to actually sit down and do something about the ongoing crisis. So as a result of that, this has really affected everything pertaining to Nigeria. Nigeria is at a cross point. We are sitting on a keg of gunpowder which could explode any time from now, any moment from now, and which will be we will be unable to stop those things. But before I go ahead with my analysis, I think it will be good to actually bring up a video on trait leadership, since this is the theory I am actually going to use to analyze the ongoing crisis in Nigeria. I think it would be interesting for me to bring up this video clip um, for my viewer to actually watch. So the video clip is just about threat theory. He will explain a bit of threat theory, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to share my screen so that we can actually watch this clip. Right. So bear me a moment while I share my screen with you. Um, just bear me a moment while I share the screen with you.
Characteristics of individuals to predict the likelihood that they will become leaders. That's what this video will focus on, the trait perspective of leadership. There are a lot of aspects of the trait perspective, so we will cover the original trait leadership and other theories that are grounded in the trait perspective. Let's start with the oldest explanation of the trait theory of leadership, which dates back to the 1800s. Multiple scholars have been credited with the theory, in particular Francis Galton, an Englishman during the Victorian era, and Scotsman Thomas Carlyle, also from the Victorian era, both of whom have way too many credentials for me to list here. Now, there's a reason to mention these scholars, which I'll get around to in a moment. Both theories operate under the assumption that leadership comes from the personal qualities of the leader, and that those qualities are present at birth. Carlyle called his theory the great man theory. He analyzed successful leaders of his time to determine which traits they possess and concluded that leaders are born and made. In his book Hereditary Genius, he proposed that leadership is always found in all sorts of people. Specific, unchanging traits. They are born with these traits. They are inherited or part of their genetic makeup. But you are not going to let God love because these traits do not develop. What traits? Think back to the 1800s. Physical traits. Leaders at that time tended to be tall, of ideal weight, and attractive, or at least not unattractive. You'll probably notice that male is not on the list. Not a surprise considering that it was the Victorian era when women didn't even have the right to vote, so it was likely assumed and not worthy of listing. Remember that Carlyle called his theory the great man approach. Notice also that ethnicity, specifically white, wasn't on the list. Carlyle and Galton were from Scotland and England, so, again, likely assumed. Effective leaders shared communication traits, like being talkative, expressing confidence, motivated, knowledgeable, punctual, adaptable, and good listeners. And they shared some psychological traits, such as having a high need to influence others and being friendly. There are several problems with this approach, and it lost favor in the mid-20th century. This approach ensured that we would get the same type of people as leaders. It also ensured that people who didn't share these characteristics would not be considered as leaders. Even though part of this theory has been questioned, at least the physical trait criterion, you can likely see some traces of it in the viability of many of our political candidates. That brings us to a more modern day approach to the trait theory, as proposed by Stephen Zaccaro of George Mason University. Let me preface this by saying there is much more to this theory than I will cover, and I'm going to focus on the traits part of his approach. He also includes an aspect that he calls leadership criteria, which includes the operating environment of the leader and the leader processes, which contribute to the leader's emergence, effectiveness, and advancement and promotion. His main argument is that a leader's attributes influences how the leader performs.
But we'll focus on the first two sections of his model, the distal and proximal attributes. Both of these terms are related to anatomy. Proximal, think proximity, are those things that are closer to the torso, or in the case of this theory, closer to the problem at hand.
So I'm going to stop it there because, like I said, I'm actually going to use, there are, like I said, there are different types of leadership theory, or different authors, but actually, so this same theory, this same theory will actually going to emphasize on that of Carlyle. That's what I'll be using to analyze, though it's been further developed by other authors, but that's what I'm going to use to analyze what I'm about to do today. Right. So as you just listened to that video clip, what the video said is that leadership, that great man leadership style, um, cannot be possessed on earth. It's like it's an inborn. You are born with it. So if you are not born with it, you cannot actually. You don't expect such a person to display such characteristics. So for a person to display such characteristics, it means you are actually born with it. You are born to be a leader. So what I'm actually going to. So I'll be using this tide hot sauce by Thomas Khaled. So I will just watch that video clip. So the next question we should ask ourselves is, any of our leaders possess those traits, those characteristics you just heard from the video clip? If I'm to answer that question, I'll say no. Our leaders does not possess, both our past leaders and present leaders does not possess those characteristics. The only person that possesses that characteristics is Chief Awolowo, and he wasn't made a prime minister, neither was he made a president of Nigeria. So that's one of the reasons why I will not put his name as past head of state, because he wasn't an head of state till he died. You must have those characteristics, the attributes of leadership. You must have it in you. It's not something you learn. It's something is in you. You have that personal trait in you. So as a result, becoming a leader, displaying those characteristics of leadership will not be a problem for you. And the people that surround you, or the people that are under you, will really enjoy you, will enjoy your leadership style, because that personal trait was, you were born with those personal traits. You were born to be a leader. So as such, you will not struggle. It's something you find easy to do, to be a leader, and you actually lead people the right way and not the wrong way. So now, from these characteristics, a great leaders, heroes that will be able to rise against the hurdle, to defeat any rivals while inspiring followers along the way. Does any of our leaders, our past leaders, our current leaders, do you see any one of them display this kind of characteristics? I have not seen any. But I know somebody that is very close, very close. He doesn't have, he is a leader, but he tried his best. So leaders were then born with a specific set of traits. So these kinds of leader, these traits, personal traits, you expect that a leader was born with a specific set of traits and attributes that make them ideal candidates for leadership and role of authority and power. Then another is, this theory relies then heavily on born rather than made. Like I said, you expect that any leader that possesses this trait, which we call personal trait, that you expect that this person was the theory relies on how this person was born with this trait. So it's not man-made. it's inborn. That person was born with it. So something you were born with, nobody can take it from you. It's not something you went for. You went for the training. You train yourself to be a leader. You are actually born to be a leader. So that is the logic behind this theory. So nature rather than nurture. So this theory believes in nature. So this is nature. This is my nature. This is how I was born. I was born to be a great leader. I was born to be this. I was born to be that. Right? So and it cultivates. So the idea that those empower deserve to lead and should be questioned because they have the unique traits that make them suited for the position. So you can be questioned at any time, if you possess these characteristics, these personal traits, characteristics, because you were born to lead, you were born to be a leader. So you expect that such a leader we have all these characteristics, such a leader we have all these personal traits. So far, if we look at these things are just read out to you now, if we look at our past leaders and current leaders, does any of our past leaders or current leaders possess all these characteristics, these personal traits characteristics? Because if we look back at how we started before independence, up to the time of independence, and up till now, if we look back at Nigeria, look at how we started. Does any of our leaders possess those things? So these are the list of our past and current leaders. So we have from Tafawa Balewa. Does Tafawa Balewa possess that personal traits? No. You would know that he wasn't actually born to be a leader because he doesn't possess those characteristics, those traits in him. He doesn't have those traits. So he's not born to be a leader. So we have Nnamdi Azikiwe. We have Agui Ironsi. We have Yakubu Gowon. We have Segun Obasanjo. We have Shehu Shagari. And we go on to have Ibrahim Babangida. You see all these leaders, they're corrupt leaders. So definitely, without me having to explain all these things to you, you can actually figure out on your own that these leaders aren't born with these traits. Therefore, they are not born to be a leader. So we've got Sonny Abacha. We know how corrupt he is. We know how Abdul Salam Abubakar. We know Shoneko. We know Jonathan. We also know Murtala Muhammad. And then we have the current president, who is the biggest corrupt head of state we've ever had. The most wicked head of state we've ever had, the most unstable head of state we've ever had, the most corrupted head of state we've ever had, the most tribalistic head of state we've never had, the most nepotistic head of state we've ever had. So when you talk of anything evil, talk of everything bad, talk of any bad qualities, yeah, this current president is the worst. It fits into all these qualities. So you can see the past leaders and current leaders we have in Nigeria does not meet this criteria. So therefore, you expect we will find ourselves in this current situation we actually found ourselves in. But there is one leader who actually is not 100% perfect, but he actually display a bit of those characteristics, those traits. So that's Yaradua. His tenure was short-lived because we all know he was healed and then he died as well. He didn't complete his. But while he was in office, Yaradua tried his best to bring all ethnic groups together. There was nothing like the full of Nigeria, the Islamization of Nigeria. There was nothing like that under Yaradua. Yaradua, he led the country. He always thought of the country first. No, he is not nepotistic. He is not a tribalist. So he always think about the country first. Think about Nigerians. So as a result of that, he balanced everything. Nobody was left out. No ethnic group was left out. Neither the Yorubas, the Igbos, the Middle Beltons, and the Northerners. Nobody was left out. Everybody was happy under Yaradua. But as soon as Yaradua left office and then Muhammad Buhari found himself in the position of the presidency, and then everything was messed. So, like I said, the problem we've been having, if you go back and watch my past analysis, you watch it from part 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is part 5. I'm hosting right now. You watch the whole thing. I said the problem we have been having in Nigeria is something that I didn't just start in a day. It was something gradual. It started gradually in Nigeria, and under Balewa, down to the time of Nnamdi Aguiyi, Yakubu Gowon, Segun Obasanjo, Shehu Shagari, Ibrahim Babangida, which we know he messed the whole thing up. Sani Abacha, Abdul Salam, Shulekon, Jonathan, Muhammad, and Yaradua. So it was something that was gradual. It didn't just start in a day. It was something that was actually building up, and it built up to where we are today. And we cannot argue the fact, we cannot deny the fact that most of the past presidents and the current presidents actually messed the country up. But we'll say 10 years ago, Nigeria wasn't as bad as this. We actually will know we've been having this problem, but Nigeria wasn't as bad as this. But under Buhari, the country found itself at a crossroad. The country found itself in a very difficult position. The country found itself to have elected a leader who doesn't have those personal traits I just analyzed, who doesn't have the leadership skills, who does not possess those leadership skills, who does not have the personal traits of a good leader. And therefore, the moment he was able to lay his hands on power, he abused power. We know the past presidents have abused the power, but we will say under this current president, things have really gone from bad to worse. And we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder, and we will expect Nigeria to explode soon, because things are just getting worse. Things are not actually they are not getting better, as you can see, the whole country is in a mess. So when you elect a secondary school, when you elect a primary school holder, primary 6, to be your president, and you expect there will be growth, do you expect there will be development in the country? Do you expect something good to come out from the country? Do you expect people who want to partner with the country? Do you expect foreign investors who want to invest in the country? Nobody will want to invest in such a country. Nigeria is the only country that will elect a primary school holder as their president in this modern age. People have moved past that. People have moved countries, and people have moved beyond that. So there's no reason why we shouldn't have a great as a head of state or as a president. So we can see when a leader does not possess a leadership skills. That was why I purposely chose that theory. When the leader does not possess that skills, the leadership skills, not personal traits of a good leader, and you expect everything not to go in the right direction you would have wanted it to go. And we actually brought these things on ourselves, we voted for him, we trusted him, we believe he can do it, we believe he's strong man, he's a man of principle, he's a man who complies with laws, but under him, the country is really gone astray. The country is astray right now. We can see the DSS abuse their power. We can see how the Attorney General and other ministers, how they abuse their power. We've seen how they embezzled money. We see corruption at its highest. We can see people are being violated. We can see people's rights being violated, people being killed, people being slaughtered, people being raped, and unemployment. There's all sorts of atrocity going on in the country. And we have Nigeria is a country of 240 ethnic groups. We have a minority ethnic group virtually occupy virtually all the posts in Nigeria. And the president pretended as if Nigeria is a country of one ethnic group. So, can you expect there will be peace in that kind of country? Do we expect there will be peace? There will not be peace. There will not be harmony. When people's rights are being trampled on every now and then, people's rights are violated. Nigeria made law, they don't even believe in their law. They made law, they don't believe in their law, they violate their law. So you can see that level of madness. We can see that level of stupidity. So therefore, we shouldn't expect anything good to come out from Nigeria. Nothing good came out in the past, and it's only gotten worse. So it will only get worse. It will not get better. So we have been electing, or we have been imposing on ourselves leaders that does not have a leadership skills. Or you see, these leaders here, these past and current leaders, they have been in power and are currently in power. They are just there for themselves. They are there for their family. All they care about is me, myself, my family, this and that. They don't care about Nigerians. They don't care if you survive. They don't care if you have your job. They don't care if you are okay. They don't care if you are attacked by criminals. They don't care if you are killed. They don't care about your road safety. They don't care about virtually anything about you. They don't care about your education. They don't care about just stuff, anything. These leaders don't care about you. So what they care about is either myself, either me, it's all about me, it's all about my family, it's all about my, that's all they care for. They are there to enrich themselves. They are actually there to enrich their pockets, to cater for their family, to cater for themselves. So they don't care, they don't give a toss about you Nigerians, they don't give a damn about you. They don't want to know if you're okay. They don't want to know if you're good, you have good roads. They don't want to know if you have good education, so on and so forth. So on this note here, I've been able to explain a few things about this theory that I'm using to analyze the current situation in Nigeria. Yeah. So and I'm still going to continue with this. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break right now. I'm going to take a break right now, and I'm going to come back. When I come back from my break, I will continue from where I stopped. So I'm just going to play this music while I take just a 2 minutes break.
Isa Olúṣọlá Adéyí Ọláníyàn Olúpòkí àti ilẹ̀ Òkè tó jẹ́ ọba pàtàkì nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn darandaran tí ó ń dá àwọn ènìyàn aláwọ̀ ìlú kan ìlú lónìí. Àwọn Yorùbá sì wà dáadáa nítorí àwọn ọba tí kan gbàgbà yìí á sọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn adarọ̀ náà lásán ní ipò.
lẹ́nu ọba Yorùbá ò bá ti jọ ẹnu Yorùbá ò lè jọ ẹ má fún ta lọ́rọ̀ sọ ẹ̀kọ́ má ba àmọ̀dé abájọ wa ẹ̀tọ́ náà ti gbà ṣẹṣẹ lọ́wọ́ wa òye wa níṣẹ́ náà pé wọ́ṣọ àtòrí tó bá dìgbà kan fẹ́ mú wa lọ́ sì gbà ṣẹṣẹ lọ́wọ́ wa Yorùbá ẹ ti sùn àní ẹyẹ sùn ó yẹ ẹ jí máa sùn kọ́ má padà mú wa ní ìrọ̀mù èṣù torí ogun bọ̀ ẹ tètè ká múra o ogun bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká múra o Yorùbá. Ìjọba níta ni ló ti ìjọba ẹ̀yin ọba wa ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni náà ni bàbá wa ẹ má lajú ní ìpìlẹ̀ kábíyèsí tó gba ilẹ̀ wa wọ́n yẹ pa àwọn èèyàn wa lójú ní ẹjẹ́ kó máa padà sáyé ọba káṣe kó lè padà sẹ́nu ọba olóṣèlú gbọ́dọ̀ máa gbà sí ọba ṣèbí yẹn gbọ́ngàn náà pé ní ìjọba ìpẹ́ tí Yorùbá ti bẹ̀rù ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀dùn dédé kí tẹ́lẹ̀tì má padà lónílé Yorùbá ẹbí sàn àní ẹyẹ sàn ó yẹ ẹjú máa wọ́n má padà mú wa ní òkun ìṣòro lórí ogun bọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká múra ogun bọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká múra Yorùbá. Ìjà yìí ṣe ìjà sọ́nà òòṣà nìkan ìjà gbogbo Yorùbá ó yẹ dìde ẹ̀yìn àlágbára àsìkò ti tó ọ̀kìtọ̀ pápọ́jú kò jọ òun kọ́ máa mọ̀ ẹ jáwọ́ lápọ̀ tí ó yọ ẹja gbòmìn dábàá náà ìgbọràn sàn jẹbọ rí ẹjẹ kó tó àlàtò lójú kò sẹ́ni bọ̀dì tó lè rí náà tó bá lọ jalè jùlọ máa fi bí ẹ̀rù ìlú ẹ̀yìn Yorùbá gbogbo Yorùbá ẹ̀rù ìlú nínú òkun dẹ̀ngbògùn ẹ̀rù ìlú ọ̀sẹ̀ tó ṣe máa jẹ ọ̀tá ní ẹ̀rù ìlú ẹ̀yìn ẹ̀dálẹ̀ Abíọ́lá táwọn lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀rù ìlú ẹ̀yìn ẹ̀dálẹ̀ tó jẹ́ ìjà gbọ́n ẹ̀rù ìlú ìjọwọ́ wa ní Yorùbá máa gbọ́n ẹ̀rù ìlú Bákan àtẹnujẹ ló ń pa wọn ẹ̀rù ìlú ìka tó lóko ẹ̀rù yẹn ẹ̀rù ìlú ọmọ aláṣọ wa wà níta ó tún bẹ̀ ní ẹ̀rù ìlú ọmọ ẹ̀rọ wa ń dẹkùn ó tún dùnú ẹ̀rù ìlú ọmọ lè ṣàǹfààní fún wa náà tí kò lọ ẹ̀rù ìlú ọmọ ẹ̀rù yẹn ó ti fẹ́ tí Yorùbá ti fẹ́nu ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré lọ́wọ́ yìí ẹ̀dùn dédé kí tẹ́lántì má padà.
Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho nìkan ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo wa ni àṣetì àti olóṣèlú wà lọ́nlọ́ni gbogbo ẹ̀yìn àtàkà ọba alámọ̀tàkẹ́ ọ̀lẹ́wìṣà Aláàfin Àwùjalẹ̀ Aláàfin Ṣọ̀ún Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ Alára àti Ọ̀ràngún Àkàrẹ́ Olúbàdàn ìjọba ẹ̀ṣọ́ lọ́wọ́ àti
Bóyá sọ̀rọ̀ sókè ẹ̀yin ọba Yorùbá àjàgbá ọmọ tó gba orin láti bàbá mẹ́lọ́dì ẹgbẹ́ mi lákọ̀ọ́yìn ọba.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to from break. Good to have you back. So we'll continue from where we actually told before I went on break. So I hope we're finding this interesting. I hope we are finding it interesting. So I'll continue with my analysis. You see, I'll continue with my analysis. The ongoing crisis in Nigeria. Yeah. So been able to analyze or been able to explain some of our leaders have this personal trait, this personal characteristics of about this great man theory. So we can see our past leaders and current leaders does not possess these characteristics, this leadership characteristics, this leadership theory, this leadership trait. So therefore, we don't expect for a leader who does not possess those characteristics, you don't expect such leaders uh, to actually meet your expectation. For leaders that doesn't possess um, that does not possess those attributes, you don't expect uh, such leaders to actually meet you at your point of expectation. If you are actually expecting that, I think you will be disappointed. So, as a result of this, um, we've actually have been bad luck. We've been bad luck in Nigeria. We've not really had a good leaders. We've not had good leaders. A leader who was really actually close to um, achieving those things, doing those things. His time was actually short-lived, and that's uh, President Yaradua. His time was short-lived. As a result, he couldn't actually fulfill his tenure, but he did his best. He tried his best. He wasn't tribalistic about himself, not about his kingsmen, not about his tribe. He was concerned as a leader. He was concerned about Nigerians as a whole. So, but Muhammad Buhari, he does not possess those skills, as we can see, is more of like he's as much as I'll call it more. He is more of like illiterate. He's an illiterate leader because he's a promise. Is a promises holder. So it's more of like he didn't even study at all. It's more of like he didn't study, he didn't go to college, he didn't do anything. He does not possess any of those skills which I just explained, which I just analyzed to you. And when he doesn't have that, when he doesn't possess those traits, when he doesn't possess those characteristics, and of course, you don't expect him to be a good leader. If you're expecting Muhammad Buhari to be a good leader, after what I've analyzed to you, and then you're actually fooling yourself, not fooling anybody, he's the most nepotistic president we've ever had, or the most tribalistic president we've ever had. He takes joy in what is going on in Nigeria. He takes joy in his kingsmen, his Fulani men trying to kill other tribes. It takes joy in women being raped. It takes joy in violating people's rights. It takes joy in killing citizens. We've seen how DSS have overstepped their boundary. They are doing more than what they are not supposed to do. They overstepped their boundary. They have actually violated people's rights. And all these things were made possible with the signature of the government, with the signature of the president, because the DSS will never take any step, or the DSS will never raid a home without it being sanctioned. So therefore, Muhammad Buhari is aware of all this atrocity going on in Nigeria. Therefore, after analyzing all these things, from Tafawa Balewa to Azikwe to Ironsi to go on to Obasanjo to Shagari to Babangida, who we now refer to as Maradona, to Abacha, to Abubakar, Jonathan, Muhammad, Yar'Adua, and Buhari. After analyzing all these things, and I've been able to analyze that these leaders does not possess the characteristics. They do not possess what it takes to be a leader. Like I said, our leader, we look up to our leader. Our leader be our hero. There must be this inbuilt nature in them. Um, when they're in power, there should be that task for them to there must be the urge for them to satisfy their citizens, satisfy their citizens' rights. So, and this set of traits and attributes failed in all these leaders I just read out to you. There's no that leadership role, that authority and power which they have was mismanaged and is still being mismanaged till now. So therefore, everything our leaders have done in the past and in the present have gone against all the odds to defeat we Nigerians. They've actually worked against their citizens. As a good leader will work in favor of his citizens. So I expect our past leaders and current leaders to have worked in favor of Nigerians. But opposite is the case. Our leaders, our past leaders, and our current leaders, everything they have done, whether themselves, everything they have done so far, they've worked against the Nigerians. Everything they did was against Nigeria. So they were actually fighting the people. They are actually at war with the people they are governing. And there is no government. One thing history has shown, which we cannot argue, which nobody can dispute, is there is no government who fight its people that will ever win. You will never win. Because when you fight your people, you're actually fighting a spirit. You are not fighting one person, it's collective. So you are fighting a spirit. And you can never defeat a spirit. So those are the mistakes our leaders are making, and they still continue to make, especially under Buhari. Buhari has been the worst president Nigeria had so far, including him and his cabinet, because since Buhari became the president, he has been Miheti Allah under control of the Sultan of Sokoto, the Attorney General of the Federation. I've been the one actually ruling the country. So it's Miheti Allah that is ruling the country. And that's why we found ourselves where we are today. Because when we voted, we didn't vote for Miheti Allah. We didn't vote for Malami. We didn't vote for the son of Sokoto. We voted for Muhammadu Buhari. So Muhammadu Buhari sits in the House of Rock. He sits there. He is more of like a dog sitting in the House of Rock, and is being backed on, being haunted by Miheti Allah under the chairmanship of the Sultan of Sokoto and Manami. These two guys are the one actually managing Nigeria. Malami and Sultan of Sokoto, they are the one managing Nigeria. And we've seen where we are today. When we have set of imbeciles, set of idiots, set of illiterate, because sometimes one can be educated and still be an illiterate. So we call those set of people educated illiterates. Because another thing is you have knowledge. Apart from knowledge, you actually need that wisdom. So it's from knowledge and wisdom, then you get the understanding. So Manami might be educated because I had his son, senior advocate of Nigeria. So Manami might be educated, but actually might not have the wisdom. So, and if you don't have that wisdom, you won't have the understanding. And it's also in the book of it's in the Bible that it's from wisdom. It's from wisdom you get understanding. So when you lack the wisdom, you lack the judgment. You lack everything you need to be a leader. When you lack all these skills, when you lack all these characteristics, or these leadership characteristics, then you will lack the understanding. And that's why we found ourselves where we are today in Nigeria. A leader must not be nepotistic. A leader must not be tribalistic. A leader must always consider his people, because you are there, you govern the country for the people. You are the government of the people, by the people, for the people. The people put you there, they can take you out. Mind you, where you are right now is not where you're going to be forever. Everything we do on this earth, yeah, everything that goes around comes around. So everything you do right now, actually, you may think you're getting away with it, but a time will come when you will not get away with it. It's not forever. The former president of South Africa, we know where he is today. He's in the prison. The former president of Sudan, al-Bashir, we know where he is today. Those people I just named, they're all former presidents. Hosni Mubarak, what happened to him? Ben Ali, the former president of Tunisia, we know what happened to him. And these guys, they're all your colleagues. Muammar Gaddafi, former president of Libya, we know what happened to him. All these people, they're all former presidents in African continent. And we saw what happened to them. Even despite having friends, Western friends that actually pushed them against their people back then, we saw what happened. Everything still backfired. So when we have people that lack the leadership skills, that lack the leadership traits, that lack what it takes to be a leader, they're actually not consoling. They don't care about anybody. They don't care about Nigerians. They don't care about education. They don't care about good roads. When you have them in power, of course, you will find that country in a state of chaos. And that's why Nigeria is in a state of chaos. And that is the more reason why Nigeria will disintegrate. There is nothing we can do to save Nigeria, to be honest with everybody. There is nothing we can do to save Nigeria. We don't have good roads, no good hospital, education. You look at, go to schools, those buildings are just beyond repair. Our education is at the lowest. Certificates are not recognized anywhere in the world, which wasn't like that. We don't have good roads. That's why you see accidents everywhere and there. No checks. Anybody can just bring any car, put them on the road, and drive them anywhere. Those cars without no good steering, no good brake, and you see them on the road. They drive around the road, they cause accident, they cause chaos, taking people's life unwillingly. And these are our future. These are the people that are future. You're violating people's right. People have no right to express themselves. People cannot talk, which actually just contradicts the use slogan of conventional rights, human rights. Everybody have a right to self-determination under the UN Chapter 1. Everybody have a right to freedom of expression, a right to life, a right to fair trial, freedom of information, freedom of liberty, the right to gather. All those things, they are right, is our God-given right under the UN Charter, under the UN Convention. They are God-given rights, which cannot be taken away from people. You can't continue to intimidate Nigerians. For how long are you going to do that? Can't you see? Are you blind? Malami, are you blind? Lai Mohammed, are you blind? Femi Adesina, are you blind? Sultan of Sokoto, are you blind? El Rufai, are you blind? Obasanjo, are you blind? Are you all blind? Can't you see what's going on in Nigeria? For how long are you going to intimidate people? Can you see how people are actually resisting you all? I bet you will not get away with it. You can't intimidate people for life. People, they've had enough. Everything now backfire. Everything backfire. Because you can't continue to intimidate people. People are willing to, to die. People are ready to pay with their blood. People are ready to pay with their life because they had enough. When you push and you push, at a point in time, you push people, you push them to the wall. When you push them to the wall, they have no other option. They'll have no choice left. They'll turn around and attack you. They'll come after you, and they'll come after you in a very hard way. Very hard way. Can you see what's going on in Nigeria? It's just out of your control. You try to want to control everything, but you cannot actually control everything. You don't possess good leadership skills. Therefore, you cannot lead us. So that will take me on to the next slide. So, after this question, do any of our past and current Nigerian leaders have the personality and the special quality essential for being a leader? None of this. Most of the skills that I just mentioned, none of our past leaders and current leaders possess all the skills. As a result of that, we are in a mess. As a result of that, that's why we found ourselves where we are today as Nigerians. You will expect that anybody with a leadership skills, we have this innate trait of personality responsible for leadership role. None of our leaders have all this. So, was any trait developed during the assumption of leadership role? So far, under Muhammadu Buhari, I have not seen any sign of that. I've not seen him actually develop any traits. I've not seen any traits developed. That willingness to develop that leadership role in him, I've not seen that. Was there any traits specifically affected as the leader tasks were accomplished? No. So we can see our leaders does not possess any of these things, does not possess any of these characteristics. As a result, we found ourselves where we are today. None of our leaders, both current and present, not only at the federal level, but also at the state level and at the local level. All our leaders, senators, House of Rep, local chairmen, councillors, ministers, governors, so on and so forth, both at the federal level, state level, and at the local government level, we have useless leaders. Useless leaders. All they care about is they care about themselves, they care about their family. They don't care if Nigerians are fine, they don't care if Nigerians are doing fine. They don't care if everything is okay with Nigerians. If they want to die, they can go die. They don't give a toss. They don't give a care. They don't give a damn about you. Who do you think you are? And so on and so forth. That's just the only trait I notice, or the only characteristics that I notice that leaders, political leaders, both not only political, and also traditional rulers, religious rulers. Those are the only traits, those are the only characteristics that I know they all possess. And that characteristics is just similar. It's similar to from the federal. That's the trait you see in at the federal level. You see them also at the state level. You see them at the local government level. You see them with the traditional officers, and we also see them with the religious leaders. Because these things, um, religious leaders themselves, they are also very toxic. They are corrupt. They've refused to come out and say the truth. And why? Why are they not speaking out? Why are they not saying the truth? They are not saying the truth because they have been bribed by the government. The government have been, giving them money as a result of that. They dare not utter anything. They dare not talk about the ongoing crisis in Nigeria. Otherwise, they can be thrown into prison. So as a result of that, they decided to be quiet and support evil, right? If you're a Christian, it's in the Bible, you always stand by the truth. The Lord will worship as one in all, and the Almighty God who will never share his glory with any man, and the Lord we worship is clean. As a result of that, you must always stand by the truth. And same applies to Islam. Always stand by the truth. The moment you deviate from all these things, then you are not truly a man of God. You are not a prophet of God. You are not a true, that's not true Islam. Because you actually contradict what is in the Bible and what is in the book of Quran and the book of Hadith. You actually contradict everything. So as you can see, most of these things, our leaders does not possess these things. Why they were still on duty, like Muhammad Buhari is still the current president, you can see why this duty is ongoing, why he's discharging his duty is actually everything is discharged so far has been negative, not positive. No improvement, nothing of such. He's not wanting to do anything, he's not wanting to bend, he's not willing to do anything. All he cares about is me, this is what I'm going to do. That is it. Nobody dare question. So that will take me on to the next slide. And our next slide here is about how we can distinguish a good leader from a bad leader. So as you can see, I've read out our past and current leaders of Nigerians. I think we have 18 leaders. The only way by which we can distinguish a good leader from a bad leader. So if we go back to those 18 leaders we have, both past and current, right, is you see that the originality in a good leader. A good leader is original. A good leader wants to satisfy his citizens. A good leader always think about his citizens. A good leader wants something good for his citizens, not any other thing. From there, if you're original, you do things that your citizen expects you to do because you're voted in by your people, because you are the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Therefore, we will expect that as the government of the people, we will expect you to satisfy your people, do what your people want. And of course, we don't expect you to satisfy people 100%, but if you can actually satisfy your people 60-70%, your people are not asking so much of you. That's okay, that's not too bad. So this will also lead to a popularity. Oh, this is the government, this is the president of the people. He does what we want, this is what we want, and he has always satisfied us. It would lead to it will be a boost for you. It would lead to your popularity. And as a result, if you choose to contest for another election, you will easily be re-elected because you are the government of the people. You did what the people want, and as a result, the people are happy to vote you back in power. So social enough, that's sociability. Are you social enough with your citizens? Do you go out and mingle with your citizens? You just go out, just feel the pulse, just go out there to see what's going on in town, not just sit in Hasorok, in Abuja. You know, get that feel. You go out there to get the feel. Sit, town hall, you organize a town hall meeting, sit with your people, discuss with them, hear their view, hear their problem. By doing that, when you go from one community to the other, you'll be able to gather few things you think you can work on to improve the livelihood of your people. And that is how we distinguish a good leader from a bad leader. So far, I've not seen any of our leaders does this, and I've not seen Muhammadu Buhari does this. He's not original, he's not popular, he's not even sociable. He's always in the hassle. He's always locked up in the hassle. Judgment. A good leader will have a sense of good judgment. As you can see, Muhammadu Buhari doesn't have a good of sense of judgment. If Muhammadu Buhari has a good sense of judgment, he will know everything is not it's not the way it should be in Nigeria. He will know that Nigeria is about to burst. Nigeria is about to explode. He will try his best to bring in people, sit people down and chat with them, negotiate with people, listen to their grievances, and so on and so forth. But so far, he's failed in this aspect. He's not had a roundtable talk. All he has done, all he did so far is to gag people around, intimidate people, get people arrested, destroy livelihood, destroy property, kill people. I'm thinking by doing that, it will end the agitation. So we can see so far, despite how the DSS did, despite the intimidation from the police, from the army, from the DSS, from useless leaders, that hasn't stopped the agitation. It didn't stop the agitation. The more reason why Muhammadu Buhari must take a different approach to this crisis. That's the more reason. What have you achieved so far? What has he achieved so far? It's nothing. What he achieved, rather what he achieved is hunger. You harden the mind of people and nobody will want to negotiate with you. Here you go, you arrested Kanu. Okay? You didn't arrest him, you kidnapped Kanu. And here we go, we have Sunday Igboho in Benin Republic. So doing that to those people, those are the people you think you can actually negotiate with, or the way you have treated them. So far, do you think they will be willing to negotiate with you? Do you think they will want to sit down and negotiate with you? Nobody wants to do that. After what you've done, you actually hardened their mind, and you hardened the mind of their followers. Therefore, they will not want to negotiate. Desire to excel. Does Buhari desire to excel? Those are leaders, our political leaders, traditional rulers, and religious leaders. Do we sense any desire of them to excel? Yeah, there might be desire for them to excel, but excel for their own purpose, for their own life, not for Nigerians. Superior intellect. You will expect that a good leader, like I said, A good leader will have this personal trait in him that he is born to rule. He's born to be a leader, not to rule, but he's born to be a leader because he has that trait in him. So you are born with it. It's not something you train for it. There's that belief that great man is the belief that you're actually born with those skills, you are born with those traits. So you will not struggle to actually take on the responsibility of leadership. So therefore, you expect a good leader to have superior intellect. You expect a good leader to be a kind of brilliant leaders, a leader that will be intellect, he understand, he can make quick judgments, if he understands people, because he's always in touch with his people, constant communication with the people. You get the feel of how his people feel, how Nigerians feel, so on and so forth. You'll be able to decide. As a leader, you'll be able to discern on your own, oh, this is what I should do for my people. This is what I shouldn't do. This is what I think I should do to ease the pain for my people, to help my people, to elevate the burden, to elevate poverty, to elevate so much pain from my people. These are the things I think I can do. These are the things I can do. For a person who is not on intellect, will not be able to think all those things. Will not be able to think across the line to get these things done. So, like I said, Muhammadu Buhari, who is just a school holder, doesn't have that intellect to do all these things I just analyze. He's not an intellect, therefore you don't expect him to sit and think deep down and look for a way to resolve the ongoing crisis in Nigeria. Look for another way, because through intimidation, you can see by intimidating people will not solve anything. It actually wasn't the whole thing. There's actually nobody to negotiate with. Who do you want to negotiate with? We have on the Biafra side, and we have on the Hododua side. Who do you want to negotiate with when you have two people? One is kidnapped, one is under detention. Who do you want to negotiate with? There's nobody you want to negotiate with. You actually messed it up. You didn't handle the whole thing. You didn't handle it carefully. You are not smart enough. You are not intelligent enough to know. These are not the way you handle things. Because you must always leave that corridor, leave that room for negotiation. When you shut the door, and this is what will happen. So, who do you want to negotiate with on the Biafra side? Who do you negotiate with on the Oduduwa side? You want to negotiate with the corrupt politicians? I can bet my life we are in the new phase. This is the new phase of the Yorubas, and this new phase of Yorubas. You cannot negotiate for them. They don't want the old politicians, these corrupt politicians, to negotiate for them. And as a result of that, who do you want to go? Who do you want to negotiate with? Who do you want to communicate with? Because you actually shut the door. You overstepped your boundary. And this is not how you conduct business. This is not how you do things. That is the way you have done things so far. You messed the whole thing up. And then you are looking for people to actually negotiate with. Yeah, you have the old politicians, the corrupt politicians, you can go negotiate for them. But this is one thing I know. This negotiation will not stand, because these are the corrupt politicians that you both work together to ruin Nigeria, and all of you will end up in prison. You'll be made to account for what you did. You might think you are getting away with it, but the time will come when you don't get away with it. Just like al-Bashir, the former Sudanese president, didn't get away with it. He got away with it, but later he was made to account for his atrocity. Same thing with the former Egypt president, Hosni Mubarak. Same thing with Muammar Gaddafi, the former president of Libya. Same thing with Ben Ali, the former president of Tunisia. Same thing in South Africa, the former president of South Africa. They were all made to account for what they did. They were all made to account for their people, even though we have some dictators. Hosni Mubarak was a dictator. Ben Ali was a dictator. Muammar Gaddafi was a dictator. And al-Bashir of Sudan was a dictator. So we have dictators in Nigeria hiding under democracy that they're running Nigeria. But you're actually dictators. You'll be made to account for what you did today, just like your other colleagues were made to account for what they did to their people. So we better be careful what we wish for. A good leader must have an heroic courage. Does any of our leader possess all those skills? No, they don't. As you can see, this is how we distinguish a good leader from a bad leader. And we can see these characteristics, all these skills, all these leadership skills, all these characteristics. None of our leaders possess all these characteristics. As such, we should expect. We shouldn't expect less than. We shouldn't expect. We see there will be improvements in Nigeria. In fact, we should expect it will be worse than this, since all our leaders does not possess this. None of us leaders possess all these leadership skills. Thus, Nigeria is it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better, to be honest. That's why we found ourselves where we are today. So now let's look at so it's just going to be a warm-up. Does any of our past and current leaders have these characteristics which I just read out there? Heroic, courage, originality, so on and so forth. Do you think a primary school holder can possess the above characteristics? And who is that primary school holder? Is President Muhammadu Buhari is a primary school holder. Therefore, you don't expect a primary school holder to hold such characteristics which are just analyzed now. That would be too much for him to understand. That would be too much for him to dissect. That would be too much for him to actually work on. So as a result, what we have is chaos. So you don't expect to have a nation, or you build a nation with a non-educated leader as the head of state and expect the growth of the state. You expect peace in the state, you expect security in that country, you expect love, you expect happiness, equity, and equality. You don't expect such things. There will not be equity, there will not be equality, there will not be security, there will not be love, and there will not be peace. So these are the things that fail in Nigeria. So we don't have security, there is no security, there is no love. Where there is love, you will have a president sit, you will have someone sit at the office of the president and be nepotistic and be tribalist and allow his kingsmen do whatever they choose to do. And there will be equity, there will be equality, all roles, all ministerial roles, and every other role should be shared equally among ethnic lines, which we have failed to do so far. Rather, what we see is one minor ethnic group occupy those seats. Therefore, they are trying to fulanize Nigeria. They are terrorizing Nigerians. They want to Islamize Nigeria, and they want to steal people's land from, push them out of their ancestral home and steal their land and award their lands to other Fulanis from different African countries, which many ethnic groups in the South have vowed would never allow to happen. They would rather die than have you take their ancestral home from them, transfer their property to a Fulani man, be it a Nigerian Fulani man or a Fulani man from other West African countries. Therefore, I've been able to analyze to you what you expect from a good leader, the traits you should expect from a good leader, the skills you expect from a good, the characteristics you expect a good leader will possess. So far, I've been able to analyze to you that none of these skills, our leaders does not possess any of these skills. And since our leaders does not possess this, if we continue to be together, Nigeria will explode. It will explode. So as a result, we failed in everything. Our leaders failed in everything. And when I'm talking about leaders, I'm talking about leaders at the federal level, to the state level, to the local government level, down to traditional leaders, and also to religious leaders. And since those people failed us, and they will fail us again over and over again, what do you think will be the best solution? The best solution is the disintegration of Nigeria. So, do we think the disintegration of Nigeria is imminent? So, of knowledge, what I've analyzed here today, I think the disintegration of Nigeria is imminent. It's not when, it's only a matter of time. It's imminent. It will happen, but I don't know when it will happen. But this is what I know. That spiritually, the spirit control physical. Anything that will happen to you in the physical is settled in the spiritual. So therefore, the spiritual controls the physical. So that means spiritually, there is no country called Nigeria. Spiritually, Nigeria is dead. Nigeria is dead. So all these things we are seeing happening now is just a gradual, I'll say, it's a physical manifestation and it's a gradual process. It's a gradual process. I don't know when it will happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but these are things I can say. These are things I've seen, and I'm also saying those things. That the disintegration of Nigeria is imminent because Nigeria has been torn apart in the spiritual. So it will manifest. Since the spiritual control the physical, it will manifest in physical. It's already manifesting, but it's just a gradual process. It will take time. It will take a time, and by the time it really take its time, it will manifest physically. So on this note, I've been able to analyze the leadership failure and the ongoing crisis in Nigeria using the great man theory. And I've been able to prove to you that none of our leaders, both in the past and in the current, possess any of the skills to drive Nigeria in the right direction, or to take Nigeria in the right direction. And as a result of all these things, that's why we found ourselves where we are today. We found ourselves in a mess. We found ourselves where we are today, and which is really caused it's really sad where we found ourselves today. Nigeria is at a crossroad. Nigeria is because of the lack of all the skills, the skills, because our leaders doesn't really care. Where the leaders doesn't really care about people, or what the leaders are interested about is just about them. They don't want to know who you are. They don't want to know where you come from. And as a result of this, we found ourselves where we are today. Is there a way out? Is there anything we think we can do to help ourselves, to pull us back from at this breaking point? I'm here to find out how to see this. Um, a good country like Nigeria, a good country like Nigeria, decided to attack law-abiding Nigerians. That's what Nigeria has been doing so far, attacking law-abiding Nigerians and leaving the criminals to let them do whatever they want to do, and they get away with it. That's the situation in which we found ourselves today. Law-abiding citizens, they are attacked constantly in Nigeria, while the offenders in Nigeria, they're actually left untouched. Nobody's prosecuted, and it's really, really bad. Things are really bad there. So that's why we found ourselves where we are today. To attack a peaceful rally, we chose to attack the people. Does not contravene the law, which is allowed under the UN Charter. We have that in chapter 1 of the UN Charter. It's not a criminal offense. We're allowed to do that under the international law, which is what the Biafrans and the Yoruba nation have been doing so far. And I have my eyes on the Yoruba nation rally. The rally has been peaceful so far. They've not violated the law. They've not brought chaos to the country, and so on and so forth. So therefore, why should the government go after them, wage a war against the people actually complying with the law, and decided to let loose those that have decided not to comply with the law, those that decided to make a mockery of the law, those that decided to bring the country on its nails, and those that decided to terrorize the country and let them on the loose. As you can see, look at this, breaking news. It's been a while. You can see the Nigerian army released 1,009 Boko Haram terrorists to Bono government. Meanwhile, we have the people asking for self-determination, being chased out of the country. They're after those people, or they are locked up in prison. As you can see, Lady K and others, they are 12. They are locked up. They are in DSS custody. They are locked up in the country for demanding for self-determination, which is not against the law. They are law-abiding citizens. They are locked up by the DSS, and we have 1,009. This is a country where they prefer to be friends with terrorists than to be friends with people that comply with the law. So you can see Nigerian army released 1,009 Boko Haram terrorists to Bono government. You can see, look at the pictures. And these are the people they will release on the streets, coming after us, hunt us, kill us. And you will see them move to the south and they will kill us. Or these people will be reintegrated into the army. Nigeria is the first country, the useless country that is compromised, that will have terrorists, that will integrate terrorists into the army. So let's have a read. The Nigerian army on Wednesday released 1,009 ex-Boko Haram terrorists who had been in military custody at Giwa Barracks in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Can we see these people? Can we see them? These people they're already released. They'll leave them to walk around. See them, they'll actually walk around. Some of them to the south to attack us, and some of them will be actually integrated into the army. And you will see them carry you see them in the army uniform. You will see them, carry guns and so on and so forth. You see them on the streets, and when you see them, you're thinking actually you're seeing a real army, a trained army, you will know the person you're looking at is a Boko Haram, ex Boko Haram offender, and you're not really sure if these people are ex-offenders, if they are truly committed. If at all they are not, they are truly committed. Ex-terrorists should not be embedded into the army. Once you do that, that means they are actually the army is compromised. That's why we see the army find itself in a state of chaos today. They are not trusted in the country. Because all they have demonstrated so far is they have always supported terrorists, they have always supported the wrong against the right. As a result of that, they can't actually be trusted. They can't be trusted, you know. So the army is compromised. I will see in the army, some speak French, you actually know they are non-Nigerians, they cannot communicate in English, and you embed them into the army and you release them to the public. You expect them to communicate with the public. How do you expect these people to communicate with the public? When they speak French, you will know these people are from Niger, they are from Chad, they are from Mali, they are from Senegal, and you expect them to communicate with Nigerians who doesn't speak English. How? After all, obvious, the army sent to Igbo's house, they are French speakers. Therefore, we know these people were actually hired from a neighboring country to come to Nigeria to carry out those tasks that was given to them. So this is where we found ourselves today. Nigeria is in a state of chaos, and I don't think Nigeria will survive this. Nigeria will not survive this. So Nigeria, I can actually confirm to you that most of the that it is our government that is actually sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. Sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. All the terrorist activities in Nigeria, all the killings, all the mayhem, and everything ongoing in Nigeria. It does truly show that our government is the one sponsoring all the rape, killing, kidnapping, and chaos, chopping of head, chopping of arms, chopping of leg, and so on and so forth. It actually just shows that um, our government is sponsoring terrorism, you know. So our government is actually responsible for all these things, and you know. And before we go ahead, I'm just going to show you more clip which I want you to watch to prove my case that so far from what we have seen so far in Nigeria, all the chaos where we found ourselves today is actually our politicians are responsible for it. And I can tell you that our politicians are the main sponsor of uh, terrorism in there is a government that is actually terrorizing us, nobody else. Therefore, um, I'm just gonna play some clip with you to demonstrate this, to show that government is actually sponsoring terrorism in Nigeria. So bear me and why I upload this clip. So I can play this clip for you, and I hope you will enjoy the clip. Um, So just trying to bring this up, and then we'll play the clip. So let's watch the clip.
And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
I've met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. Commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these things, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is
You said Northern governors, past or present.
one of them. And they're not looking for money. He told me they just from
So as we can see, that is Dr. Disclosure, maybe some few months back, and so on and so forth. You can see that I refer to a current governor, and we all know who that governor is. That's El-Rufai, the shortman devil. El-Rufai is the governor he was referring to, because he was Governor El-Rufai and Miyetti Allah, under the command of the Sultan of Sokoto, recruited these guys we call bandits. They are not actually bandits, they are terrorists. Recruited those people and used them under Jonathan regime to destabilize his regime. They thought Jonathan will not leave power. That was why those people were recruited from other Western African countries. They are Fulanis, they were recruited and brought to Nigeria, and they actually want to start a civil war, thinking Jonathan would leave the office after the election, but they were disappointed. He left the office. So it was too late for them. Those guys were already in Nigeria, and they had an agreement that these guys, there are some things they will be settled after carrying out those tasks. And they were told to, when something was over, they went to El-Rufai. El-Rufai told them, "You can go back to your country. We don't need you. We don't need you anymore." He's decided to, to step down, so therefore we might not need your service. And there was an agreement, because they failed to fulfill that agreement, and that is why we're having the problem we're having today. And if you look at the state of Kaduna is under a serious attack. You can see all the schools, 5,000 schools were shut down of recent. One might be asking, why is it Kaduna? Why is it Kaduna? Is Kaduna the only state in Nigeria? Why is it coming under attack? We were thinking it was Borno, but now it's actually Kaduna. Kaduna is under serious attack. Kaduna is under attack because the current governor, was the one who brought in those bandits. Then he know what is going on. There's an agreement between them, and he didn't settle that agreement. That agreement was part of that agreement was to give land in exchange, and that will be southern land. That is our land, Biafra and the Yorubas. We will never trade our land for anything. We will never trade our land for rubbish. You brought them to the country, so it's better you just accommodate them in the north. We didn't bring them into the country. You brought them, so accommodate them in the north. You have your land mass is so huge that you can actually accommodate them. So because they couldn't fulfill those things, that's why Cardinal is coming under attack, because he was the person who has the emir, the has emir of Sokoto, the Haks the Mietiala under the chairmanship of Emir of Sokoto to recruit those guys and bring them to Nigeria, and they did, and they refused to settle those guys. Those guys were not settled. As a result, that's why you see those guys going back to Kaduna. Kaduna is under attack every now and then. You see, we have states they're under attack, but Kaduna is under serious attack because of all these agreements. Because El Rufai refused to fulfill those things they promised them when those guys were recruited. And that's why they actually have their eyes on Kaduna. So on this note today, I've been able to analyze, and I've been able to prove to you today that our past and current leaders does not have the leadership skills, does not possess the leadership skills, the characteristics, and that's why characteristics like a good leader should possess. That's why we find ourselves in a mess today. And if we want a resolution, the best resolution is the imminent disintegration of Nigeria. There is no other solution, and this can be done peacefully. Let everybody come together. Advise, let everybody come together. Let the northerners, the southerners, middle belters, and let everybody come together, sit down together, negotiate a way out, and let everybody go their way. Even after negotiating a way out, there will still be that relationship, there will be that trading relationship, so on and so forth. There will be exchange of goods and services. So, and that's the best way to do it if we don't want war. But if you want war, you can choose not to do it. And if people are forced to, if people are pushed, if people are being intimidated, people will stand up for their rights. Trust me, I know people had enough. People will stand up for their rights and they'll fight for themselves. And then you'll struggle to find who to negotiate with. It will be out of control. You'll be totally away from your hand. You will not be able to do anything. You even try to control everything. You will not be able to control everything. And what you don't want to happen will eventually happen. The country will collapse. There will be disintegration of Nigeria. Everybody will go their way. So since we know this will eventually happen, why not just go ahead, sit everybody down and negotiate a way out? I think that is the best possible solution that I want to suggest as a person and as an educated as my my whole suggestion from my platform, educative talk show. There's a way we can go around things that will make it easy for everybody, make it easy for all Nigerians to find a possible solution, and that is a negotiation on a roundtable negotiation, and let everybody negotiate their way out of Nigeria, and we still continue that relationship, build that trading relationship, partnership relationship, where people can exchange, you can go from one country to the other, and so on and so forth, where we will not see the difference at all. Yeah, so, and on this note, I want to thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you all for coming on my show. I'll try again and make sure I try and come out. Being a very busy person, I work, I do all of the things, so it's not really been easy at all. So because of that, that's why you've not seen me in the past few days. I'll try as much as possible and see if I can come out in the week again. If not, that'll be a weekend. And it's nice to see you all. Thank you for coming on my show. It's good to have you all. You enjoy your day and then you enjoy your weekend.
Ọba Isa Olúṣọlá Adéyìn Ọláníyàn. pẹ̀lú Òkè àti ilẹ̀ Òkè tó jẹ́ ọba pàtàkì nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn darandaran tí ó ń dá àwọn èèyàn aláàmú ìlú kan nínú ìlú Yorùbá sí dáadáa tó jẹ́ àwọn ọba bíi ti kan àgbà Yorùbá á sì sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn adarọ̀ náà lásán ní ìlú wọn.
Yorùbá ò lè jọ ẹ má fún ta lọ́rọ̀ sọ kó má bàa mọ̀dé abájọ wa ẹ̀tọ́ náà fi gbàṣẹ sí lọ́wọ́ wa òye wa níṣẹ́ náà pín wọ́ọ̀ṣù àtòrí tó bá dìgbà kan fẹ́ mú wa náà sì gbàṣẹ sí lọ́wọ́ wa Yorùbá ẹ ti sàn àní ẹyẹ sàn òye ẹ ti máa sùn kọ́ má padà mú wa ní ogun ìṣòro lórí ogun bọ̀ ogun ẹ̀tẹ̀tẹ̀ ká múra ogun bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká múra Yorùbá ṣebí ìjọ lárọ̀ bá nígbà ní ló di ìjọba ẹ̀yin ọba wa ṣe bẹ́yìn náà ní bàbá wa ẹ má lajú yìí sílẹ̀ kájéjì kó gba ilẹ̀ wa wọ́n yé pa àwọn èèyàn wa lójú yìí ẹ jẹ́ kó bá padà sáyé ọba káṣe kó lè padà sẹ́nu ọba olóṣèlú gbọ́dọ̀ máa gbàṣẹ ọba ṣèbí yẹn gangan náà pè ní ìjọba tipẹ́ tí Yorùbá ti fẹnu ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré lọ́wọ́ yìí ẹ dúró dédé kí tẹ́nàtì má padà yóò nílé Yorùbá ẹ ti sọ ẹyẹ sọ ó yẹ tí máa wọ́n má padà mú wa ní ogun ìṣòro nítorí ogun ń bọ̀ ogun ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká múra ogun ń bọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká múra Yorùbá. Ìjà yìí ti ṣe ká sọ́nà epo ṣàníkan ìjà gbogbo Yorùbá ó yẹ dìde ẹ̀yìn alágbára àsìkò tí tó wọ́n kí lọ fákọ́jú kò jọ rọ̀ òun kò máa mọ̀ ẹ jáwọ́ lápá tí ó yọ ẹ já gbómi látàánú ìgbọràn sàn jẹ́bọ rí ẹ jẹ́ kó tó àtàtò ló dúdú kò sẹ́yìn bọ́dí tó lè rí inú Yorùbá ló dalẹ̀ jù ẹ má fi bínú. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ẹ̀yin Yorùbá gbogbo Yorùbá ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ẹ̀yin nínú òkun lẹ́nu gbogbo ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra olóòtítọ́ ṣe máa jẹ ọ̀tá yín ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ẹ̀yin lẹ́dálẹ̀ Abíọ́lá Olówó ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ẹ̀yin lẹ́dálẹ̀ tó dé níbi àgbọn ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ìjọwọ́ wa ní Yorùbá máa kọ́ ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra Yorùbá gbọ́ àtẹnujẹ ló ń pa wọn ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ẹ̀kọ́ ìkàkọ́ lóko ẹ̀rù yẹn ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ọmọ aláṣọ wa wà kìsà ó tún fẹ́ ní ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ọmọ ẹlẹ́nu wa ń jẹ̀kùn ó tún dùnú ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ọkọ̀ tó lè ṣàǹfààní fún wa náà ti kó yọ ẹ̀rù yìí tó ra ó ti pẹ́ tí Yorùbá ti fẹ́nu ṣe ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré lọ́wọ́ ní ẹ̀dúró dédé kí tẹ́nàtì má padà lónílé.
Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho nìkan ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo wa ni àṣetì àti olóṣèlú wà lọ́nà gbogbo ẹ̀yìn àtàkùn ọba lámàdàkẹ́ ọ̀nìṣà aláàfin ọ̀gbẹ̀rẹ̀ aláàfin ṣọ̀gbọ́nṣọ̀ aláàfin ọmọ àkárí olùbàdàn bàbá rẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ bàbá dàkẹ́ ọ̀tún bàbá